if you've clicked on this video, chances are there's a part of you that feels a sense of distance. A quiet space between you and God that you long to close. Maybe you felt like you're doing all the right things. You pray, you try to be a good person, you might even read scripture, but the connection feels weak, like a faint signal on a radio. You might be asking, is anyone even listening? Is this all just in my head? First, I want you to know that this feeling is not a sign of failure. In fact, this spiritual ache, this longing for more, is the very thing that starts every great journey of faith. It's not a problem to be solved, but a doorway to walk through. The question we often ask is, how do I make God feel real to me? But what if we started with a different question? If you knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that God was with you, truly for you, and deeply in love with you, could you learn to trust Him? I think most of us would say yes. That's the goal, not a feeling, but a deep, settled trust. Faith is the bridge that takes us from a place of uncertainty to a place of trust. But before we take our first step across that bridge, it's important to understand two things. First, this journey is a choice. It's a conscious decision, a firm yes, to building a relationship. It's not based on having all the answers or waiting for a lightning bolt of emotion. It's based on a person. Do I choose to trust this person? And second, we are not expected to make this choice alone. The Bible tells us that we cannot come to God unless He draws us near. This divine help, this spiritual nudge, is often called grace. Think of it as God reaching His hand out across the bridge. Our part is to open ourselves up, to be willing to take His hand and walk with Him. So how do we do that? How do we actively receive and respond to that grace? It begins by fundamentally shifting how you see yourself in relation to God. So often, we see God as a distant king, or a cosmic judge, and we feel like unworthy subjects. But what if the story is much more personal? Imagine discovering you are the long-lost child of the kindest, most powerful, and most loving monarch in the universe. At first you wouldn't believe it. It would seem too good to be true. But as you spend time in the palace, you see the truth in the king's eyes. He calls you his own. You are not a servant, you are his heir. This is the truth of our spiritual identity. Through faith, we are adopted into God's family. He looks at you right now and says, "You are my beloved son," or "You are my beloved daughter, and I am so proud of you." The first step in getting closer to God is to let that truth sink in. Do you accept it? Just as that long-lost child has to learn to trust their new reality, that they have a Father who will protect them, provide for them, and love them unconditionally, so do we. The door to this incredible life-giving love isn't somewhere out in the cosmos, it's within you. He is already there, waiting for you to recognize Him. This understanding is the foundation upon which a real relationship can be built. Once you begin to see yourself as His child, the next natural step is to create space for conversation. Every healthy relationship is built on communication. And with God, this communication flows through the lifeblood of His Spirit. That grace we talked about is what allows us to see, know, and do things we couldn't on our own. But we have to keep that line of communication open. Think of it like a student learning from a grand master. The master is eager to share all his wisdom and skill, but it depends on the student's willingness to show up, listen, and practice. If the apprentice is lazy, distracted, or thinks he knows better, the relationship stagnates. Grace requires our participation. So try incorporating 3 simple conversational habits into your day. In the morning before the world rushes in, spend a few moments reading a small piece of scripture, or an insightful spiritual text. But don't just read it for information. Approach it as if you're sitting with the divine teacher himself. Ask him, "What do you want to show me today?" Read the passage a few times, and let him highlight a word or a phrase. That's your thought to carry with you. Then, throughout your day, practice prayer. But let's redefine prayer. It isn't just a list of requests. It's the simple act of being present with the one who loves you. It's the breathing of faith. You don't need to say a word. Just quiet your mind, turn your attention inward, and rest in His presence. Don't look for a specific feeling or worry if you're doing it right. Just be, And finally, at the end of the day, take a few minutes for a gentle review. Look back over your thoughts and actions. Where did you act in a way that reflected love and patience? Where did you fall short? Go over it with the Spirit, not with a sense of guilt, but with the encouragement of a loving coach. Then, make a simple plan for the next day. This daily rhythm of listening, being, and reflecting creates a powerful, open channel for grace to flow. Now, as we open that channel, we might notice there's a lot of static and interference. Things that block the signal and make it hard to hear clearly. We can call this sin. Sin and grace are like oil and water, they just don't mix. If we truly want to deepen our connection with God, we have to be willing to clean up the static. How? By turning to His mercy. It's about being honest. It's about humbly placing our mistakes at His feet, no matter what they are or how many times we've made them. God's nature is mercy, and He can't resist a heart that is honest and willing to change. Remember the story of the Apostle Peter. He publicly denied even knowing Jesus 3 times. He failed in a spectacular way. But later, after the resurrection, Jesus didn't condemn him. He met Peter right where he was, and asked him a simple question: "Do you love me?" When Peter said yes, he was instantly restored. That is the heart of God. He is always ready to forgive and restore us, giving us everything He has once again. This process also helps us deal with doubt. Doubt can be intellectual, and if that's the case, seek out the answers. There are 2,000 years of brilliant minds who have wrestled with the same questions. But often, doubt is a form of spiritual static, whispers of discouragement from the enemy. When those kinds of doubts arise, the ones that make you feel hopeless, see them for what they are, temptations, and refuse to entertain them. Turn your focus back to the truth of who God is. By clearing the static, it becomes easier to trust the connection, even on days when the signal feels faint. And that brings us to a crucial point: the vast difference between faith and feelings. If I could shout one thing from the rooftops, it would be this: faith is not an emotion. Do we really believe that our eternal connection to God depends on the shifting chemicals in our brains? Think of the thousands of saints and martyrs who gave their lives for Christ. Do you think they did it because they were having a good day and felt like it? Mother Teresa famously spoke of a profound feeling of spiritual darkness for decades, yet her actions showed a faith that could move mountains. We all want to feel God's presence as a confirmation of our faith, but that's actually the opposite of what faith is. Feelings are wonderful gifts, but they are notoriously unreliable. They come and go. True faith must be anchored in something much deeper, in the bedrock of our soul. Feelings might follow faith, but they should never be the foundation of it. It is when we can stand in the quiet and say, "God, I don't feel you right now, but I know you are here," that our faith becomes truly powerful. The question we should ask ourselves is not, "Am I feeling it?" but "Am I doing it? Am I choosing to trust?" It is far better to know His presence than to simply feel it. And that leads us to the final, most important step. Eventually, we have to make the choice. We have to say yes and move forward. It's really that simple. It's the moment we stop saying, "Well, I'm not really sure," and start saying, "I know. I know that God is real and is with me in this room, just as surely as I know the air I'm breathing is here. I know that He is closer to me than I am to myself. I know He hears every prayer, even the ones I can't put into words, and He will answer in His perfect way in time. I know His life-giving Spirit is alive in me right now. I know He forgives me every time I stumble, and I know that He loves me with the same unending love that He has for His own Son." How do I know these things? Not because I always feel it, or because I have some secret empirical evidence. I know because He says so. And I have made the choice to trust Him more than I trust my own fleeting feelings, my doubts, or my fears. That is faith. Not waiting for a sign, but stepping out onto the bridge, because you trust the one who built it and is waiting for you on the other side. Do I trust this person or not? The choice is yours. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I pray that this message has encouraged you on your journey. Remember, this isn't a race or a performance. It's a relationship, Be patient and gentle with yourself. He is certainly patient and gentle with you. God bless you. I know He loves you, and so do I.